As many Pixar veterans have stated in the past, Pixar don't make movies for children, they make films for everyone. As children, we're in awe by vibrant colours and flashy images. However, as an adult, we gain a whole new level of respect for the studio for tackling grounded subjects which many of us have gone through in our life. Whether that be a robot being a metaphor for what our planet will become if we don't start to make a change, or an average Joe coming to terms about being in the wrong career path. At number 5, I've got Toy Story 2. Firstly, we need to pay our respects to Gallion Suzman. If it wasn't for her completely saving the film from being deleted from existence, we wouldn't have even gotten the film. Toy Story 2 builds on everything set up from the first film, expanding the Toy Story universe without feeling like a soulless forced cash grab. The most interesting thing about Toy Story 2 is the confliction for Woody of whether it's more noble to be there for his owner or go to Tokyo in order to complete the Woody's Roundup collection. Even if the story was centred around Woody, this didn't shortchange Buzz's arc in the slightest. I loved the opening sci-fi-esque sequence for Buzz and his rescue Woody B-plot. To be honest with you, the B-plot in this film was just as interesting as Woody's A-plot. Although the film tackles multiple villains in Al McWiggin and Stinky Pete, one being a soulless, money-hungry jerk and the other an older, jealous, self-centered toy who has patiently waited to complete the Woody's Roundup set in order to be transported to a museum in Tokyo. Stinky Pete being a twist villain was unique at the time. You've got to bear in mind this film was released way before Disney forced a twist villain in each and every one of their modern day features. You can tell that John Lasseter and the team at Pixar really put everything into this film, which is very much proven by the Pixar Story documentary, which I highly recommend giving a watch if you haven't already. At number 4 is The Incredibles. Even as a Marvel fanatic, this is my favourite superhero movie of all time. Sure, Across the Spider-Verse and Infinity War have attempted to rival the first Incredibles. However, there's just something so interesting about the charm of focusing more on supers having to hide their gifted abilities to fit in with society. There wasn't a single character in this film who felt out of place, which is thanks to Brad Bird spending time to fully flesh out each of the par's own difficulties. Violet, a nervous teen with the power to turn invisible, was a genius idea, as well as Dash being the speedster having to slow down in order to compete in school sports. The Incredibles was made on a super low budget of $92 million, which is tiny compared to many other superhero flicks. Even the sequel cost $200 million to make, meaning this is an incredibly small budget for any superhero feature. My number 3 favourite Pixar film is Toy Story 3. One of my favourite things about Toy Story 3 is the theme of growing up. The final scene in the film where Andy's handing over the toys to Bonnie gets me bawling with tears every single watch. My number 2 favourite Pixar movie is Ratatouille. Going back to what I said earlier about Pixar films hitting differently as we get older, Ratatouille is perhaps the film that hits closest to home for me personally. Anton Ego's speech at the end of the film about being a critic deserved an Oscar by itself. Ratatouille is such a well-crafted piece of art, whether we're talking the score, plot or even animation, which holds up incredibly well even at 2024. I might end up doing a whole standalone Ratatouille video, so to keep things brief, I'll just say watch this film ASAP if you haven't already. Also, side note, the Ratatouille area at Disneyland Paris is simply breathtaking. I'm fortunate enough to live close by France, and whenever I visit Disneyland Paris, I always love to chill in the Ratatouille area, soaking up the atmosphere every time. My all-time favourite Pixar movie is Finding Nemo. As a child, I was in awe with the bright, vibrant colours showcased in the film. As I've grown older, I've learned to love the film for its message of a father learning to let go of his child, with Marlin learning to allow Nemo to explore the world by himself. As a film, Finding Nemo has everything, but the score is definitely a standout. I'm probably unique in this, but I adore the Tank Gang. They for sure have the best scenes in the film. Finding Nemo is a reminder that not every film has to rely on dark storytelling. Not to say that films like Soul or Spider-Verse aren't phenomenal, because they are. It's just nice to have a balance of all kinds of storytelling, with Finding Nemo being a visual and colourful spectacle that I find to be extremely rewatchable.